As a young girl, I started to pretty much feel unwanted and unloved. I had a pretty rough childhood at first. My birth parents were heavy drug addicts. My birth father was also schizophrenic, and so that made it even worse. I think they both self-medicated. I had a lot of siblings. We were abused and neglected. I just remember moving around a lot, lived in a lot of motels. After a while, the city or CPS must have caught on because I remember us all being separated, and we were all paired up and sent to different foster homes. Some of the foster homes were just as bad as being with my birth parents. Just as much abuse, and you know, I'd assume in the 80s, late 80s, they didn't screen the parents, the homes that you were going in like they do today, but I just moved around a lot, and it was really hard because as a young girl, I started to pretty much feel unwanted and unloved a lot. It's just, I guess, not really how it's supposed to be as a kid. I know that now I understand, and I don't feel that way, but as a little girl, it's just really hard not understanding why nobody wants you. What ultimately led me down the path to darkness was, I'd just say overall, extremely low self-esteem. Starting from my childhood, it just built and built, and got worse and worse. And so the drugs and the alcohol made me feel better about myself, gave me confidence that I never had, made me feel like somebody, I guess. I used a lot of different substances, pretty much anything that someone had or I could get. Towards the end, it got really bad. A lot of pain pills, and I smoked a lot of meth. It gave me confidence that I didn't have. It numbed a lot of stuff. I had 2 daughters, and I was going through a lot of stuff, and I didn't know it at the time, but with like postpartum depression, being alone, and having 2 daughters that were not really taken care of, the fathers weren't really around, and I had to do it all myself. And so smoking meth gives you endless amounts of energy. And so I felt like I could actually do everything myself, especially if I was high. Right before I came to Crossing the Jordan Academy, I was living in a horrible motel on Santa Rosa Avenue. My breaking point was I already had lost custody of my older daughter, and my youngest daughter was 2 at the time, and her dad had fallen asleep, and I had gone to the neighbor's hotel room to get high, and I'd come back and the door to the room was open, and my daughter had climbed out of her crib and walked up Santa Rosa Avenue in her diaper. And I just remember this feeling of someone took my kid, or she got out, she's gonna get hit by a car, and then an off-duty police officer had found her and pulled over and came to the closest place that she could have possibly come from. And I was outside knocking on doors frantically, and he's like, she's my daughter, that's my daughter, thank you. And he's like, oh, you can't have her back. I called the police, and I was sitting there waiting for the police to come and talk to me, and I just remember saying, please, don't let them take her from me. I just felt like the worst mother. Like I was gonna lose her forever. Or she could have been really hurt. And so I just remember saying, if I get through this, I'm gonna change my life. And Crossing the Jordan had a store up the street, and I knew it was a program too, and so I just went in there and I applied, and I got in the academy, and I just knew that I didn't want that to ever happen again. I don't believe that addiction is a disease. I believe that with faith in God and faith in yourself, that you can do anything to change your life. The moment I decided I was gonna do something and not live like that anymore, I've not looked back. I'll never go back there. I chose to do something more and be something more than that, whatever the darkness of using drugs or anything would ever take me. The losers that I'd hang around, I definitely will never choose to go back there. And I know it's not a disease at all. I have learned that I am worth so much more than I had thought for most of my life. I've learned that I'm loved and I can do anything that I set my mind to. I have learned the value of friendship. I've learned the value of a community to support you. I just have learned so much. Parenting skills, relationship skills, marital skills, just pretty much anything that has aided in who I'm becoming, and how I've changed from the past. I've learned so much from my work ethic from being here. I probably have tried every position in this company. I was a store manager, program manager. I worked at the warehouse. I've been on the donations truck. I have run the online store. I've done a little bit of everything. I can open a store and close a store. I can count out. I can balance, numbers and things like that. But I've learned a lot, organizational skills especially. I calendar everything. I just currently love what I do so much, and I found what I was good at by trying all those things. I can't even think of everything that I've learned here. My relationship with my family and children now is beautiful. I see my older daughter Killian every weekend, except for if she's too busy, because teenagers are. My daughter Catalina is just amazing. She's with me constantly. Our son Tyler is great. He spends his vacations and things like that with us, and I'm married now. I've been for a while. My husband and I are just doing fantastic. He's been clean and sober just as long as I have. We go on vacations and we just are always on an adventure together. Our family is just so precious to me.
Cut.
Okay.
That's what I do at home when everyone's being too loud. I'm trying to sleep.
My fucking tribe is so important to me. My friends are the first people that I call. I have a group of the closest girlfriends that anybody could ever wish for. My husband calls them my chicken heads. I have a number 1 chicken head, I have a number 2 chicken head, and then there's Diffie. I need them as much as I need water or air. I'm getting emotional because they're just as important to me as my family is. They are my family. My group here is what I've always wanted for a long time, especially not having a solid family for a long time as a young child. It's just important to me, especially because I just always wanted to belong somewhere or feel wanted somewhere, and I'm so wanted here. And they know my darkest secrets and they don't judge me anyway. They don't care. They just love me. My future is so bright, I need fucking sunglasses. I am going to school. I'm getting my web development certificate and my business marketing certificate. I am going places. I will never stop working on myself because when it comes to transformation, I believe there's room to change for the rest of your fucking life. I'm passionate about never putting a lid on my growth. My children's growth. I am just excited about what tomorrow brings. My name is Fallon Sealund, and this is my full disclosure.